Standing out in the job market can be really difficult. It often seems like a full-time job in itself. So how do you get that competitive advantage? Keynote speaker and inspiration coach Shannon McKain is here to help us out. Thank you so much for being here. Always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me back.
So we're going to talk about the 5 different things that you can do to kind of put yourself out there, to make yourself stand out among all the other applicants.
Absolutely. Well, you know what I think is really important for us to remember, especially in 2015 and segueing into 2016, is that we have to think of ourselves as our own personal brand. It's no longer that our professional lives and our personal lives are separate. So now we have to combine all of that together, package it up to help get ourselves ahead in the career. And so the very first thing that I always tell folks is that you have to be recognizable in what you're trying to accomplish.
Okay, how do we go about doing that?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you are a solopreneur or an entrepreneur or an employee, it doesn't matter what your career path is, but you have to do certain things with your brand. So being recognizable, being consistent, making sure that your look and feel is very consistent across all social media platforms.
Okay, what's another thing that we can do? Make sure that, so we're making sure that our brand is consistent. What else can we do? What's number 3?
Yeah, so you want to be the go-to expert in your field, and so as far as the content that you're putting out there, so make sure that you are up and up on all of the information that is going on in your industry, and so that you have to figure out where is your audience looking for your information, and then putting that content out there so that they can have that.
What are some examples that you've seen that some folks have been able to do and accomplish well?
Absolutely. So if you're thinking about, say, like a Beachbody coach or a fitness professional, think about, okay, where's your audience at? Are they playing in Pinterest? Are they playing on Instagram? Are they on Facebook? And then you start just delivering content to them, and little by little, and I always say forecast that out, say 4 to 6 months in advance. What are you doing every day? What are you doing every week? What are you doing every quarter to try to reach that audience for yourself?
That really is amazing. How can people go and find out exactly where they would most fit with social media? Because like as a news person, a lot of our viewers, certain age ranges will be geared towards Facebook, but a lot of the younger kids, they're more into the Snapchat chat and that kind of thing. I mean, it all depends. It all changes.
Yeah. There is tons of research out there right now to be able to say, okay, this is your exact target market, this is your demographic, this is who you're trying to go after, and this is where they're spending the majority amount of their time. And then that will give you the information that you need to try to set yourself apart and go after those individuals.
So, where do you think, when it comes to social media, how should you brand yourself when it comes to social media?
Yeah, so let me give you an easy example. So like when I was looking at a radio DJ here in Kansas City, and I was looking across all of his platforms there, I saw some very inconsistent things about it. So his profile picture was not the same across all social media platforms, or saying like the look and feel of the background image or the type of content that he was putting across all of those outlets. And for him, all of those outlets were very much necessary. Maybe for somebody else, being on LinkedIn is necessary, but not being on Snapchat. So you have to look for yourself what makes most sense, and then of course being recognizable and consistent.
And also to kind of latch into that when it comes to social media, hashtags.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're not familiar with hashtags, this is something you need to become familiar with right now.
So 2 years ago, the lingo was Twitter. Could you put your information in a concise 144 characters? Today, that lingo is your hashtag. And so I always ask folks, if you had a hashtag that represented you, what would that hashtag be?
Wow, I'm trying to think. That's going to take me some time to kind of sit down and think about that.
But if you can figure out what those relevant hashtags would be for you to help brand yourself, then once you figure that out, you just start using them and using them and using them. And it's just like crowdsourcing anything else. You can start crowdsourcing the people that are interested in that same content that you're trying to put out there.
Perfect. Shannon, pleasure as always. Some great advice going forward here.
Thanks.
Rob.